Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer McElroy and I am the principal flutist of the Allen Philharmonic Orchestra. Today I'd like to visit with you about intonation. Intonation refers to the accuracy of our pitch when we're playing our instrument. That means, are we going to the red, to the sharp side on our tuner? Are we going to the flat side or the minus of our tuner? Or are we right in that dream spot, the green spot on our tuner, which means we are right on pitch and in tune? There are many different ways to work on pitch. I think the first and most important thing to make sure is, first of all, you want to make sure that your instrument is in good working order. Many of my students are surprised to find out that we actually have a cork inside of our head joint. What that is a piece of cork that is put inside of our head joint that helps determine the length of our instrument. If that cork is old, and this cork needs to be changed at least once a year. Yes, once a year it needs to be changed. That is because as we play, we have water vapor going in and we have moisture buildup inside our instrument that seeps into there, and after a while the cork will no longer expand and contract the way it needs to, which will affect our tone production and will most definitely affect our intonation. One way to tell is if it's time to change your cork or get it changed is right here. This is called the top of our flute, the head joint cork, sorry, the screw cap on there. So what this is, if you are ever bored in band and are pretending that this is one of those like fiddle, what are those cubes called? The little fiddle things where you fiddle with it and twist and everything. When you're bored and you're sitting there and doing that with your instrument and the top of your flute, it is time to get your cork changed. This head joint cork top should not move at all. You should not be able to twist it. If you are twisting it, you are actually moving the head joint cork inside your head joint, meaning you are making it much more difficult for yourself to play in tune. The next thing, after you've checked that, the next thing you want to check out is the alignment of your instrument. I like to tell all of my students that you want to line up the tone hole in the head joint with the first key of the flute. That should be in line, so that way we're not covering too much. If we cover too much, we'll be flat. If we're not covering enough, we will have a tendency to be sharp. The next thing you want to do is that as you're putting your flute together, you never want your head joint to be pushed all the way in. The reason is that it comes so that it needs to be pulled out just a little bit to make the length the right way so that we can play in tune. We're all individual players and we all use our air individually and differently, meaning that we can't all start in the same place to play in tune the same way. If you're having to push your head joint in all the way, that's usually another sign that it's time to get your head joint cork changed. I make sure you're twisting both ways when you pull out. I pull out about probably 1/4 of an inch to play in tune on my instrument. Now, I don't just know that, I've done my work, my homework. So one way to figure that out is you can take your tuner, put it in front of you, and for 5 days in a row, for at least 1 week, you're going to close your eyes, play a note, hold it for 2 counts, open your eyes, and look at where the needle is on the tuner. Once you see where it is, you're going to notate on your chart whether it was a plus or a sharp sign for sharp, hashtag I guess in y'all's terms, a sharp meaning you were sharp, a flat or a minus meaning you were flat, which means you're on the left side of the green dot, or you can put a happy face, whatever you want, star, plus sign, exclamation, whatever makes your heart content. So that way you know that note was in tune that day. Then you'll do it another day, and they don't necessarily have to be 5 days in a row. You can do like 1 day and then skip a day and then 2 days in a row, then skip a day, then 2 more days in a row. Or you can schedule it any way you want. But what that does at the very end of a week, you'll look at that chart and you'll start to notice tendencies, meaning you'll start to notice, oh wow, my B flat, I always play that in tune. My F, wow, I always play my F in tune. Oh, my C, wow, I play that sharp all the time. You might even see some that are balanced. Maybe there's 3 sharps and 2 flats, 3 flats and 2 sharps, 3 in tune and 2 flats. What that means is that you are noticing the pattern in your playing, and you're starting to adjust, but you still haven't quite found the right place to adjust. So those notes you'll want to continue doing the chart on until you realize where exactly you need to adjust those. The next thing I like to do is I like to use pedal tones or tones that play for a long time on my tuner. Now, yes, my tuner looks much different than yours. This is just one that was near me in this room. I collect metronomes and tuners as a professional musician. It's a sickness. I'm sorry. I think it's just because I like to have them around all the time, so I don't have to look for them. So yours probably looks like the Korg black tuner, and so that one is on the left side of that tuner. You'll see where it says tuning or tuner, and on the bottom of it there's usually something that says chromatic or sound on, sound off. 12 pitches, something like that. You can push that button to switch from the tuner where the note will actually play out loud for you. That's a great use of that tuner to play with those notes to see if you're playing in tune. On this one, I have it playing a pedal tone or a continuous tone of F. What I like to do with that is that I will play my F and try to match the F that's playing on the tuner. As I go, I will play for 2 counts, rest for 2 counts. Play for 2 counts, rest for 2 counts. Each time, making sure that my pitch is matching the tuner. On that last one, I had to adjust up a little bit. Now, one thing I'm making sure too is that my air is steady so that my pitch doesn't drop or waver. If it drops or waver, this is the sound you'll get. So you want to make sure, again, that we're always aiming our air, and once we're aiming our air where the note is in tune, once we're aiming our note where it is in tune, you want to make sure that you memorize what that feels like and keep the air in that spot. We're always working on our aim. We're going to be really great at aiming at targets after this. So again, let me demonstrate again, and I'll demonstrate bringing that pitch in tune. Might notice my eyebrows help a little bit on that. So it's not in the eyebrows. What I'm doing is I am aiming my air too low, and that's what makes it sound out of tune in the beginning with that note. I am flat. So what I'm doing to bring it in tune is I'm simply thinking of, oh, I'm not going to aim at my knees anymore. I'm going to aim at the bottom of the stand, music stand in front of me. And that simple change in direction of air helps me bring my pitch up. The higher we go, the higher our pitch goes. If I start out too sharp in opposite, where I start too sharp in that note, which means then I'm aiming way too high, then I would think, oh, I'm aiming too high. I need to aim lower, and I'll pick a different spot to aim that's lower. That is, I think, the most beneficial and best way to work on your tuning, because what that does, it gets you away from staring at your tuner. Because yes, I know that there are a lot of times we have the tuner in front of us and it's really easy to look at while we're playing, but the music is going to get more challenging and you're going to have to start relying on your ears more. So if we're already working on our ear training, that is something that we can work more on to be more beneficial. That way you can start listening outside of just your section and start listening to other instruments and start hearing what they are playing, if they're playing in tune or flat or sharp, and you can start matching those pitches. I hope that exercise is helpful for you. One advanced version of that, what you can do is you can take that same pedal tone and then you can play a melody along with it. So one melody that I like to play, a simple melody, is, again, Over the Rainbow. If you saw the tone video, you'll be like, yeah, she favors that one. So this one, I'll play it now in the key of F. listening and stopping and stalling on the F to make sure I'm in tune with the pedal tone. So again, I had to bring it up a little bit. That helps me learn my tendency to know, oh, I need to start a little higher. The other thing you'll notice, I always make sure I start in tune before I go on my journey of the melody. So again, first of all, finding those foundational points of the F, and then after that, you can start to work on even more advanced things, as in listening to the other notes and playing those notes in tune with a different note, the F. I hope you find that helpful, and good luck with those pedal tones and your pitch control.